Hey guys, welcome back to the May Contain Action podcast. I am one of your hosts, Trevor, future Hall of Famer. Yeah, it's the first time I've said it. It's not going to happen though. I'm definitely not going to play long enough.
I believe.
And if you didn't hear in the background, we have a third guest that I am going to introduce before Paul. That's Jenn. Jenn's here today.
Jen's here.
Hey, and usually we do this for the guests or whatever, but I guess you're the guest. But we're not interviewing you. This isn't that thing anymore. We're not those people.
We're not.
But we apologize about taking that gap week in between, like when we said we're back and then we're just not back. But I booked a flight for a month in the future, and I'm supposed to be coming down on Wednesday. But I didn't look at the date of the flight, which usually is important, and then so I had to rebook it for the next day, which happened to be Thursday. Then we flew out, then we got stuck on the tarmac with the cats, and then I got home at 4, so we just couldn't do it. And then
you were stuck on a tarmac with cats?
We had both the kittens underneath the seats in front of us, and
on the plane.
I
imagined you wandering the tarmac.
No, we were just standing around there, holding them out of their cage areas, just like, where are we?
Where are we? Are we on a tarmac?
But no, like our biggest fear is like them we didn't know how they were going to travel or fly. Oh, like, if they were just randomly like super motion sickness and they're just throwing up all over the place, and that's something that happens sometimes. So I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. And then we get stuck. Like they're already going to be in a carrier for 5.5 hours on the flight. Mm-hmm. So like we're like, if the longer this goes, the more likely they are to pee. So this is bad. And we made it, and they turn out to be the chillest cats on the planet. But we're here and we're doing it today on Friday.
Funny that you did that because I also just traveled for the first time with my son. So
I'm sure he was crying.
He actually didn't. We were able to.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic because that kid didn't make a sound when I met him. So twice, I saw him twice, and he's like, "No, not today, bro.
not feeling it." Yeah, we just timed it really well. Worked out, and he slept and ate well, and we had a really great person next to us who actually, ironically enough, was going to TwitchCon when we met her. Shout out to Rose Colored Chaos. She's been in the chat a couple times now, and cool. She was very nice. Yeah, she was great. So it worked out.
Did you wait? Where did you? I thought you were going to Florida. Did you go to Florida? Is this?
Yeah, I went to Florida. Yeah, I went to Florida to visit Tim and Alexis and everyone down there.
We find out Paul went to TwitchCon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you went to I'm like, why was that? That's the opposite direction. Why was she? Was she's connecting in like Atlanta or something, probably?
Yeah, she connected in Atlanta. Exactly.
Oh, there you go.
Exactly. Because Syracuse is tiny.
All right. And Jenn, why did you have to cancel last week's pod?
Yeah, why did you cancel?
What are you up to?
I didn't cancel, and I never would have. I would have been there.
Yeah,
she said, I think, and I quote, "I'm too good for this shit," is what she said.
No, I never would say that because I have low self-esteem. Yeah. So
you're a big time swearer. I don't typically do it, so that's why I said that, because you do it.
Yeah, I swear like a sailor. Also, we're just learning so much about myself today. No, I wasn't on a plane at all because I don't go anywhere anymore. So I went one place one time and I got COVID for 2 months, so I'm good. I'm fine.
I was riding the subway and not getting COVID, and then I randomly got it while not going anywhere, and it kicked my ass for 3 days. And
can I?
Yeah. Oh no, not 3 days.
Can I chime in with a funny COVID story, quote unquote?
Yes, funny COVID story. Get us PM.
Yes.
It's not really funny, but it's timely for this. I was in the elevator at my gym, and on my phone, normal stuff. I hear this lady on the phone go, "Yeah, I tested positive for COVID last week, but I don't have any symptoms, so I think I'm okay." And I am right next to this woman, and I just go, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like I put my literal hand in my fist, and I was just like, "Are you fucking serious?" And so I'm hoping not next week. I don't have any symptoms, but if I'm out for next week's podcast, there you go. That's why.
Okay. All right. Now we know. I mean, you pretty much just hit record and then walk away from the desk, so it's not like a whole lot of work, but it's totally fine.
You do a lot more than that, PM. Don't let him gaslight you.
I gotta put you guys on schedule, or else we're gonna, go off on tangents left and right?
Yeah, Paul's being low key today, huh? Segue. Moving on.
What? There's a list of topics.
I mean, kind of. To be honest, you know what? I'll just zhuzh down a path. I have a couple things that I thought would be fun to explain, and especially on the last what was it 2 weeks ago, the last episode we did, we were talking a lot about, I'm interested in this because I pretty much just took a 3-month hiatus where not only was I not streaming, but I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on except for the payout thing that's just still gets me going, and I don't want to go down that road again. But just like in terms of like who's the biggest streamer, like how's the ninja streaming to everywhere thing going? Like that's interesting. But I was also doing we got I can't say his name. What PM? What's is it Kai Sinat? Is that how you say it? The guy who's leading now has the most subs.
I think it's Sinat.
Oh yeah,
Sinat.
Yeah.
Kai.
Yeah.
Kai Sinat.
Kai Sinat. Yeah.
Are you going to include the face reveal too for Dream?
Well, Dream too. I mean,
or Dream.
That was insane, but like everyone saw that back up. Like the way that was huge, massive, right? Was predictable. The amount of memes made about it was, a lot of people were like, "Oh, people are being mean." I'm like, "Yeah, it's the internet, and he's a Minecraft streamer. What do you think's gonna happen?"
I feel like you guys operate in a level of social media and Twitch that I just cannot see. I found out about the Dream thing randomly on trending, and I was like, I don't even know who this guy is. I have never heard of Dream in my life until that very moment.
You had never heard of Dream?
No.
So Trevor plays Minecraft, so he would know. And I'm a no cam streamer, and he's a no cam streamer. So I feel like we have that degree of separation. And then
you're saying I would be up on all like the black streamers? Is that like what?
I don't. Why'd you go black?
But you don't even know who Kai is, bro.
You didn't know who Kai was.
Why'd you go black?
I'm just like, why not like variety? I just feel like you are more than being black, Paul.
Okay, so how about this? Here's a great segue into the subject, Paul. What do you look at, Bo? Like, what are you consuming when you're not streaming?
You don't want to know
more
man.
Than anything. Yes, I do. We all do.
You don't want to know.
Everyone's interesting in their own way.
It's weird hamster stuff. No, I
knew it.
Typically,
just checking where I came from.
Typically, like political news. To be honest with you, it's usually like
you
just get revved up like me. Do you just get revved up?
You just I get piss yourself off to take care of your
I get a little revved up. Yeah, I'm not like super pissed off. I feel like it's important to at least be aware of and know.
Of course.
So yeah, I feel like making informed decisions are important. I feel like when people vote, they really don't really know why they're voting for someone or like what this person did or whatever. So I'll mention people all the time to like my friends, like, oh, have you heard like what happened with like John Fetterman? And like, who's John Fetterman? I've never heard of that. Oh yeah, that's right.
The king of TikTok right now.
John Fetterman.
John Fetterman is the
he is the TikTok guy.
Like of Twitch Twitter and TikTok. Like he's just been roasting. Is it Dr. Oz?
Yeah, Dr.
Who's
Oz.
this guy?
Yeah.
What does he do?
John Fetterman's a Senate candidate.
He's running for office against in Pennsylvania against Dr. Oz, who who lives in New Jersey.
And apparently killed 300 dogs.
Dr. Oz
he killed
running for office.
Of course he is, man. And
what I'm talking about.
Which side do you think he's running for? It's like a freaking clown house over there. They got Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker's tagline is, he said he would do it. Like, they're like, yeah, vote for him. He said he'd do it. Like, what?
Herschel Walker's a joke. It's all just, that's what I can say.
Yeah.
But for better or worse, that and like Star Citizen videos. All.
Paul, I literally am holding my joysticks right now.
Yeah, you are.
I just keep them on my desk and I play with them when I'm not doing anything.
I have a question. In Star Citizen, is there like an RP?
There might be. We've seen people who are kind of like that, but
I think it has potential to do like a no pixel type thing.
I think so because it's very awesome. You have to like eat and drink and stuff. Like there's
do you like run into people enough organically?
If you limit them to like a certain planet, yes.
Yeah, you can.
There's only so many places you can go. There's city hubs, and within those hubs, there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
New Babbage has a nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
That at
New
night.
Babbage,
New Babbage is on like the Apple planet, like Microsoft Apple planet. It's very clean and like clinical with like the white I
gotcha.
But there's also, it's like the luxury planet. So there's all these like really fancy things. You can go out on like these little quad bikes. I took Paul out to go see this like secret Christmas tree place, and he crashed my bike and like abandoned me.
I think I ended up in prison.
All just
I think you did end up in prison.
Is this all what?
Like that's the Christmas tree place, is that developed by them, or is there like a user generating content?
No, it's all by
it's all them.
They need to start, because it's so big.
They need to do a
problem,
lot of
right?
Let's be completely honest. There's a lot.
It's super slow. I mean, I wanted to get into this like 4 years ago, but they're like, yeah, it's not really close to finished enough to even play. Like, it's so bad. So I'm like, it's almost like they got to find ways to. It just ends up being Ready Player One at that point, right? When people are making their own stuff and people can come to their own planets, and they're kind of the users are making kind of the like creating a lot of the stuff.
Well, that's so far down the road for them. They need to create their own planets at this point.
I think that would be cool.
The back end is just, you got to be able to let people do that and not hack and cheat, and that's.
I love that you want to make all games like Minecraft, though.
Trevor's passion for Minecraft makes me more passionate about things, because
there's a reason it's the most popular game ever. Is because creating something that is like procedurally generated randomly as you travel away, and it's done in like, it just only renders what's close to you, is like any game that's open world or something, or any sort of sandbox needs to be done like that. But the problem is, it's just blocks, and it's blocks so that they can do that, so that the game doesn't crash every computer in the world. And every other game is like, now we want to have good graphics too. And then when you do that, that limits you a lot. So it's like, because I don't know if we're ever going to get to the point where computers can handle doing that at a big enough scale to make it fun. So that's why I like it, because it's just, oh, what's this look like? Oh, I could do this with that. Okay, let's do it. And then a month later, like, wow, that was a month worth of work. Maybe that was too much.
Have you seen the specs for the 4090s?
No, but I might be in the market for one, because my 3090 just bricked in the mail. So
what?
It's just not working.
They were some of the testing, and of course, the only one that I can think of off the top of my head is Fortnite. Was you could do like 700 FPS on 4K for Fortnite from the 4090. They're saying this is like the biggest jump in performance like in NVIDIA history. So to your point, you might see more games like those type of games become more accessible, because the graphics power going forward can handle it.
Wow,
awesome. Is it NVIDIA or NVIDIA?
So I was gonna say, I like that he made it a word.
NVIDIA.
Is it NVIDIA or NVIDIA? Maybe we should just let's just tweet at him.
Are we committing?
Let's get some engagement on this.
I'm really happy that they're making progress, but I did just buy a 3090. Or I just built a computer with a 3090.
No, 3090s are absolutely monsters too.
Yeah, they're beasts.
It's just 4090s are like beyond anything we can imagine at the point.
And I can't really complain them. So I have a community funded PC, but still I feel bad that like their money didn't go to the newest thing.
Yeah, but that was only going to last for so long.
True.
It was the newest thing when you did it.
Right. So I was talking in chat and I was like, I want to future proof. And they're like, that's not a thing anymore, Jen. Like, that's not a thing. You can't future proof because things come out so quickly now. And
but the best part about it is like graphics cards more and more. Like the last, since probably 1080 Ti's, they held their value pretty dang good. Even when the like the 3090s are still going to be $2,000 for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you can resell them. You can resell them if they work fine and they're used. You can sell it for like $1,700. Like they hold their value really well. It's not like you right when you open the box it drops 50%. It's like because they're always limited, always. So the one I have that's bricked, I ordered a new one, and I'm gonna see if I can figure out if this can be fixed. If it can be, then I'm gonna do a giveaway for it, because it's just sitting here and it's like I just don't know enough about how to troubleshoot those things to I did the basic like, is the motherboard saying it? And it's like, no. I'm like, all right, that's enough for me. I don't need to.
That's enough.
If there's like diagnostic software, and like I have to get a little dock to do it and do it, like, no, I'm out. No, we're not doing that. Get a new one and cross your fingers. So,
a dock.
I know that everyone here Jen, do you watch TV and shows or like TV shows and movies a lot? I know Paul does. Paul likes movies.
Kind of. Yeah. Like the last movie I saw in theaters was like Thor: Love and Thunder. So
yeah,
not
I
like
did too.
that,
I saw it. But I haven't seen it either. But even like streaming, do you like find yourself watching movies?
Yeah, well, I watch Bob's Burgers every single day.
There you
go. And there's a new season out, so I watch Bob's every single day. It's on at least one TV or my PC while I do anything. So
you saw the movie, right?
Wow.
Yes, I've seen the movie. I've done watch parties in Discord for it multiple times because I'm trying to make everyone I know watch it.
I heard it's really good, and you don't even have to watch the show, and it's still good.
Yeah, no, it's a perfect like adaptation for film from the show. But yeah, so that's like
the main. Say adaptation, TV. Guys. I got you.
Oh, sorry.
Woo!
I'm so sorry. Sorry.
That is literally what I did. 100%. I take that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. Just pronounce better, Jen.
I guess I'll just shut up now.
No, don't shut up because I'm going to ask you more questions. So
the guy couldn't say Kai Cenat. Just throwing that out there.
Sorry. I asked how you said it. You told me. There we go.
But no, so I think it's really good. But that's the main media I consume. Other than that, I don't have time to watch stuff.
You're just streaming?
Right now I am. Right now I'm on the grind because I finally found... I was talking to PM about this. I finally found something that people want to watch again, so I'm trying to maximize that.
Are you guys having the same thing where my Just Chatting is doing just astronomically more than any video game?
I saw that yesterday, I think.
It's not even close. It's not even remote.
The next highest is like League and Valorant, and then it just crashes even more. Like no one's watching anything but that, really.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we were talking about 2 weeks ago. We were talking about the shift in. I mean, IRL and Just Chatting has been popular for a long time. Like people do it, but they always like would do some video games too. And now we just people who haven't opened a game ever. And they're, you know what I mean? It's a whole different, or they were like a YouTube.
The only game they play is slots.
Because I don't know. I know Kai was on YouTube before. I think it was like he has a couple songs out, rapper or something. I don't know like exactly what he did before Twitch, but he hasn't been on Twitch the whole time. And I've watched more since we talked about it, just trying to understand like who's here and why they're subbing and why they like to be part of this. And it's just reality. It's reality TV. It's the same thing that we were watching when we watched Jersey Shore. It's the same exact type of thing.
The woman I walked into, met on the plane. Rose Colored Chaos is an IRL streamer.
Really?
It's all she does. Just IRL. Doesn't play any games. Just does that. And
they usually have like a soundboard, thing, right? Like an interest that they're into that's kind of woven in. The same thing, like you could say that Hassan is technically just chatting. He plays games sometimes, but it's like buddy night or whatever. But he's a political commentator. But talking about politics is his thing. Like that's what he's talking about. And so like a guy like Aiden Ross, he's like I called it like he's like a social. So it's like it's all about getting a group of people together and just shooting shit like this.
Yeah,
like just get as many as you can in a room and then let it kind of.
It's almost like
take off.
It's almost like long form podcasts in a way.
Kind of, yeah.
Like people are tuning into these to hear from these personalities. Like I think some of the best moments in Paul's stream coming from a viewer of his is that first hour and a half where you just kind of shoot the shit and you just watch stuff and you just talk. And then I think as Twitch has grown from a viewer perspective, you like the moments where, Tim spends 3 hours, opening links for $500. Like you enjoy those moments more than him continuously playing a video game over and over again.
And it's not and by the way, I just want to put this in here because people are going to like be like, yeah, well, I don't have money to donate. No, that's not actually what it is. It actually doesn't matter if they're giving him money for it at all. If he just did it, it would be the same thing. So it doesn't even really matter about the dollar amounts or the donations. That's just how he has to. I mean, it's smart, and also like it would just be impossible to do any other way. But it's when the barrier between viewer and streamer is the thinnest. Like you have all of our Like you have all of our attention at that time. And that's why people are struggling with YouTube. So I actually have been dancing. I'm like, okay, I have 2 YouTube channels. I talk about baseball on Twitch a lot, but I also do gaming. So people don't really like know which thing they're going to get. And so it's just wildly different for viewership. So I'm like, what if I did the baseball thing live streaming on YouTube, because now our partnership thing is okay with that. We just can't do it at the same time. So what if I did some, like I did, like, give me a player and we'll break down their statistically, their, like, I'll give you their goods or bads and what they could get better, how I would analyze them. I think that would be interesting. And people are like, okay, I would click that link, but like, it's just hard for us to feel like we are there with you and not just watching you. And I was like, huh. Mm-hmm. And so basically what it came down to is they're like, YouTube is there's just the reason that a lot of viewers don't go so fast from Twitch there is because the barrier between the streamer and them feels so much bigger. But Twitch is just, you feel like you're in the room because you have all these emotes and you got all this stuff, and it's a really fast, organic, back and forth, and they love it, and they're like, I would prefer it to be here. I was like, huh, I never thought about it that way, but that explains why. That's why Just Chatting and IRL does so good, because it's built for that. It's literally built for that, for us to communicate with people and then take feedback from them instantly, and you don't have to follow, sub, anything. You just be there. Exactly. There's no barriers, none. And you
watch
might
those sweet ads.
Yeah, okay. There's that. But if you just power through, guys, if you just power through, they'll get there, 91%, and we'll get our 9. Oh my God, okay, so I sent this to Tay, but I didn't send it to you guys, which I meant to. My incentives after not streaming is one of the funniest things.
Oh, Trevor, can I just say though? So Trevor checked it and he was like, "Is this per hour?"
What?
Because mine was so low, but I hadn't streamed it. It was basically the lowest it could possibly be.
Right, but Trevor was like, "Is this incentive per hour?" I'm like, "No, that's the month, Trevor."
So no, but I didn't. But again, I've never seen like the top range, right? So like, I didn't know if it only went up to like $100 an hour. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't, because mine's so low. But how much?
It's so funny. He was like, literally, stream asking
the incentives for playing ads.
Yeah. Oh, yes, so the ad incentives. Yes,
I logged in. I'm like, huh, what should I do this? And it was like $13 for 1 minute of ads. Hold on. It gets better. It's like, how about $14 for 2 minutes? I'm like, huh, that math doesn't add up. And they're like, okay, if you don't like that, how about this? $15 for 4 minutes. I'm like, you keep doubling it, but adding $1. So they're going to give me $15 this month for playing 4 minutes of ads an hour.
But that's what he was like.
For 11 hours of streaming. Yeah. So I'm like, you want 44 minutes of ads for $15.
Paul was so confused, but yeah, that's what he was talking about.
How could I say no? Like,
that's amazing.
Like,
what a deal.
So what you're saying is keep your day job.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I'm gonna see what free agency does.
It'll go up now that you've streamed.
No, it will. I know, and it's just funny. It's just funny to point it out, but like, I was just like, I could see why this would be exciting for a lot of people at the outset when it first came out, because it's guaranteed income. Like, that's something we don't have at all. So it's like something that you're like, oh, at least I can count on this sum of money, even though it's kind of, I don't really like the way
that $14 payout though.
But there's so many people that are like, just take the minimum one. They do the 1 minute because that's palatable. Like, that gives them an excuse to get up and go to the bathroom, right?
True.
But the 4 minutes or the top one is just like, you're just straight up. You're just straight
Trevor,
up.
do you know that I had a 9 minute month?
You did add every 9 minutes? Or 9 minutes per hour?
I had 9 minutes. It was for my options were 9, 10, and 11.
What?
It was a bug, so it's not supposed to go over 10 minutes. I guess. I talked to Rob. RSS. He's in some of our chats.
Yeah.
But I had I talked. He was like, it's not supposed to go over 10 minutes. But I had reached out to my partner rep. I had reached out to partner support. I was like, why is my offer like this? So this was the month I came back after having COVID, because I only streamed like half my hours, and if not that, and I had not completed the previous one. So they had cut my hours in half. I normally stream about 200 plus hours. So they gave me an ad incentive for 100 hours, but 9, 10, and 11.
Wow. 200 hours, Jenn?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Can I,
Trevor, I just want... Sure.
Yeah. From like a non-streamer, maybe potentially, if I ever wanted to stream perspective, is that something that I could do? Like, or is that for partners only?
So, as far as I know, well, Paul is the ambassador. I mean,
what questions do you have from me, son?
Paul is the direct assistant to the CEO of Twitch.
You're great.
Who I don't know who that is or what their name is or if
Lord real. Producer, how can I help you?
Yeah, no, I just wonder. I mean, and I guess I can come from a listener perspective too. Like, is this only for a Twitch partner thing? Can affiliates do it? Does it matter? Because obviously, like, I think a lot of people hate the ads. They don't want to see the ads, but a lot of streamers look at this as a chance to get at least some revenue. So, like, is it something that everyone can do, or is it only for the elites per se?
Yeah, it's definitely for the elites. From what I understand, yes, it is
Occupy
a partner
1% or whatever it is.
Exactly. It is a partner only program. I mean, it's under the partner tab in the dashboard, so it's not like an affiliate based thing. I think strictly because typically partners will average higher concurrent viewers.
Yeah.
So
and I think like people like affiliates would probably just abuse it and try to get the most money they can, knowing that no one's watching them, to be honest, like anyways. Yeah. So
yes,
they would just be like, here's 30 minutes of ads every hour just because I want to make $20.
Exactly.
Kind of
yes.
Yeah. So. Which is, I mean, their prerogative, but also just like the whole affiliate program is just the fact that that's even existed is just.
Well, so I thought I saw that affiliates were going to be able to do the ad incentive if they met a certain threshold. Like if they streamed a certain amount and they would receive 75% of what partners receive.
Oh yeah.
But because I try to keep up with some Twitch news, I watch like a couple of like Twitch reporters on YouTube who kind of just, because I don't have time to keep up with everything Twitch does. So that's kind of where I can see. Yeah, they, especially recently, they've been changing a lot of things. And so I think it's Zach Bussy.
Bussy.
Yeah, it is him. Yeah.
Okay. And so I was like, it's just our group. I feel like it's a normal name, but our group has ruined Bussy. But I watch him. Even like Philip DeFranco will cover like some Twitch stuff. And so I'll see things there. But I want to say that eventually they are trying to get to affiliates, but it won't be like the same offers that like partners get.
Yeah. No.
I just that it's so that's just it's just that whole like strategy of rolling things out partially and giving it it's just so predatory and I don't like it. Bothers me to like, oh no, you can get a little bit. Like it's not. You could just give them the option and just go by their viewership. You could. It could be scaled to viewership, easy. But they just they want to find ways to receive just a little bit more value than the creator is, and that's just. I hate it. It drives me crazy. But it's the way everything is. It's just the way everything in our entire, I want to say our country, but even in other countries, it's like the world is run like this. And being an employee of something is just you and taking care of you is pretty much always second. And that's just sucks. But
I have an update. An update real quick. What about affiliates? Don't worry, affiliates. We've got news coming for you in August. 55% goes to you too. It's not just AIP users who get the higher rev share. It's qualifying affiliates as well. Starting in August, just set the ads manager to 3 minutes or more per hour. That's it. The end of the list. Do that. Bam. You're qualified and get 55% of your ad revenue.
Qualifying
by giving us over this kind of already kind of high amount.
Yeah,
it's probably people who are about to hit partner, but you also have to run a minimum of 3 minutes, which a lot of people don't like to do. So
yeah, I think that's good for and I haven't checked in on her recently, but I know Ashlina, former friend of the pod, was having troubles.
Still friend of the pod.
Current.
Well, yeah, but like
current.
I wonder if there's anyone out there who really hates us now. I don't
know. she was having trouble becoming partner for a while, so I think this is a good thing for her. I feel like she would benefit from that greatly.
Yeah, not even all partners have it, according to help.twitch.tv.
Well, so I had to reach out to
I'm done too. Yeah. I can see why Ninja was like, "There's no point in being partner and then being locked into this one service because of this one benefit."
I think it's pretty. One thing I will say about the Blevins, just the way that they pursued their opportunities when it was huge. They really, really just took it and ran with it, and they knew it wasn't going to last forever, which is awesome. And then He got the bag in a lot of ways, so he had flexibility, and he's not afraid to just like be like, you know what, we're gonna go everywhere and see how this works, because we might be able to be a pioneer in this as well. Like we might be able to be the first one that I have the ability to test all this stuff out and not have it hurt me like financially so much that it's, I have to make those decisions. So other people can't do this and I can. So I'm going to do it because I'm interested and I think it might work. And the only way he gets no subscription money anywhere now. He's forgone all that, and you can donate if you want, but like he never asked, like he's just like, is this increased reach actually more valuable, and is there some way to leverage this now? And I think that's pretty interesting. The same way that he took a deal to go to somewhere else, he was the first one to do that. So he's like, he hasn't been afraid to just like take a leap and see if it'll work out. And for the most, even if Mixer didn't work out, technically the platform didn't, but it worked out for him.
Worked out for him pretty well.
So about this though, did you approve of the way that he set up his going everywhere? I personally, my community was not super happy with it either. He pretended to have like a mental health crisis.
What's that? I can honestly say that I have DM'd him about that.
Okay.
And there wasn't fully pretending. And I felt the same thing before where it was like a, what am I doing situation? And I think the only way for him to come back and continue was to kind of shake things up. Does that make sense?
But it had to have been planned, I guess. So I know you guys, I know I'm in a different position than you because you know Ninja, you know him and are friends with him. But from an outside perspective of someone that doesn't know him and just knows him as someone that represents streaming to a lot of people, most Americans, he does represent like what streamers are because of how they've been exposed to him. The fact that this had to have been a planned, calculated move. Like he had a lot of pieces in line for when he came back. What was like 2 or 3 days later? So there's no way that he was like, I'm done right now. And then in the span of a couple of days had set up all of this with multiple platforms. So I think maybe it just was a little tasteless.
I don't know. I don't know this for sure. I think that it was in the works, and I think that he was just kind of trying to bide his time till it was ready, and then I think he just couldn't wait. They couldn't get there.
If I may, for the viewer or the listener who doesn't know, and for me, what did he do?
He basically just said, I'm not going to Twitch. He gave up his partnership on Twitch for a second time, said, I'm not going to be partnered anywhere. And he just streams to everything. Like, so you can watch him.
But how he announced it was he rage quit a stream, said, I need a break. Yeah, he's like, I need a break.
Style, take off your mustache, walk away, and then
and he changed all of his socials to that he was no one. People thought he was like
gone forever.
Should be like, under care. Like people were really worried about him because he was like, I'm no one. Changed all of his socials to like blank and lost partnership. People were like, oh no, like Ninja is really mentally ill. Like someone needs to check on him. And then he comes back and he's like, I'm no one anywhere because I'm streaming everywhere, baby. And he's like, you can catch me here and there. And he just, he made it, it was for attention. And a lot of people that I saw were like, burnout as a streamer is very real and damages a lot of people's career because they don't have the nest egg maybe that Ninja has. And for him to kind of use the burnout and make it more relatable, people are like, oh, well, it makes sense that he would burn out. He works really hard. And like, I work really hard. I relate to Ninja on this. And he comes back and he's like, just kidding, baby. I'm everywhere. I'm back better than ever. And they're like, okay, 2 days off. It's probably more than he's had off in a while, but it's not the way he portrayed it. Like he made it sound like he needed time to like work on himself. And then it just ended up being a PR move.
And then, I totally get that.
Sorry, that's just a different perspective. Like, I think
not only that,
I think he was smart to try all these platforms, but I just didn't like the way he did it.
I also can't say with certainty that wasn't like, I don't know enough. I'll just say that, like, I don't know enough. But I did have a DM with him where I just said, hey man, thinking about you, because the same thing. I saw the same thing. And there's another thing.
I think we all thought he was actually like in crisis.
Yeah, I was, to be honest, going through this season since February, I felt a lot of this same stuff. So
yeah,
he said on the tweet real quick, the quote was, I just need a break, ... I don't know when I'll be back or where. And that was September 1st.
So I see it. I see it, and I see why that wouldn't be taken very well by a lot of people.
I do want to ask a question just because it is kind of a polarizing topic, but do you think a lot of this also has to do with the fact that it's Ninja as opposed to it, like if it was Paul, for example, that kind of did that? Maybe it's not that extent, because I'd
be harder on Paul, I think.
Yeah, how everything like boils up, but like Ninja has this like this label that's already placed at him, like that he always has to do right. Like I feel like he's always in trouble for something, and I just wonder how much of it is just because it's Ninja, and maybe people are kind of like, you need to be the face of every streamer everywhere, and you can't make any mistakes. And so I wonder if that has a lot to do with it too.
Did he apologize? I don't think he did. I think mistakes are allowed, but I feel like, I don't think there's a level of celebrity that excludes you from like being like, my bad. Like, this was a bad call, my bad. But I don't think he ever does that, does he?
It depends.
I haven't seen. I think to his exposure is greater, obviously, because of who he is. I think it was probably a bad idea to go as far as to remove your avies and stuff like that, because that's dramatic. That's theater at that point.
Calculated,
especially considering what the outcome was. It's theater. If it wasn't that, if he was actually having a mental health crisis, then that's an expression, like kind of cry for help type of a thing.
But then,
but the tweet by itself is not a big deal. Would you say, Trevor?
But then, her point is just like the quick comeback, all that stuff. But
yeah,
you know what? I want to, like, we can actually, let's make this like a actual good conclusion here with that burnout is a real thing, and all this stuff is real, and it's important to take that seriously, because there is let's just put, I'll give a little bit of a quick example from my own perspective. I always say things to myself like, if I weren't playing baseball, what would I be doing full time? Like, what would I be doing with most of my time? And streaming is usually the thing that pops up. Then I go, okay, but the benefits are I get to be home a lot more. I get to be in the place that I live and that I'm comfortable in. I get to create my own, Zen spot, which is where I am currently right now. And I love that. And I don't get that enough in my life, because of when I'm gone, I never can fully root down where I am, because I'm going to leave soon at some point. And that perpetual thing sucks. And it's just part of who I am now. But if you flip the coin, I think a lot about streaming. I'm like, okay, yes, but like, when do you have days off, and how do you enjoy your time away from things if leaving could hurt your bottom line? Like, how do you reconcile that? And honestly, you just kind of live with it. And you just find a way to live with the fact that if you're not live or not making something, that you're not making any money. And that's just the way. So you have to it's got to be really structured. So that's the thing. I'm like, oh my God, I will struggle with that too. That's something that I will struggle with. So I'm like, I knew that before I've ever gone full time or done any of that. And I can only imagine what people who don't have baseball feel like when like the example, when the Twitch does that thing, you're like, well, I would go to YouTube, but I have a good viewership here on Twitch, but the natural translation over usually is like cut in half, and I can't afford for it to be cut in half for any length of time. So now you have no options, and that's frustrating, and like feeling helpless sucks.
Yeah.
So, it's a real thing. What was being represented, people get burnt out, but the reason they keep going is because of everything I just said. Like, the reason people just try to power through it is because it's scarier to sit there and just think about how you're not doing anything. That's more terrifying than being burnt out. And it's a vicious cycle. And it's really, really, really important that you can lean into the things that you really, really like, so that burnout is just not as, like, if you're not doing the thing live that you really like doing it, like you wake up in the morning excited to do it, maybe you got to keep looking for things, even if it's still in the streaming area, and be okay with taking maybe a step or two back in terms of growth, or even holding steady in order to get to the point where you're happier doing it and you're willing to put in the more time and the effort to continue to grow in the other thing. It's just the way that it is. It's like switching games. Like, it's just terrifying. Being variety no one knows how to do it.
I talked about that with PM before the pod, actually.
So like, And it's always there. It never goes away. There's no point where you're going to be like 10 years down the road, you're like, oh, I finally got to happiness. It doesn't exist like that. Like, you have to be happy now. You can be happy now. You can do it. It's fine. You just got to do the thing that makes you happy more. Trust me, I've done a lot of thinking about it, especially in the 3 months when I wasn't really on Twitter. I was only tweeting "Let's go Mets." It was because,
but with lots of animals and symbols and stuff.
The emojis that was our thing we had going, so I kept that going, but nothing else happened because it was eating my soul. What people said about me and all this stuff, I hated it, and I realized how addicted I was. And as soon as the season ended and like performance was off the table, I went right back. I was like, I got to interact, and I don't care what you say anymore because now I don't have to go perform, and it won't bother me when I'm out there. And I was like, oh my God, I literally there is a healthy way to do this and be here, but you just gotta be cool with being there. So, in terms of Ninja or anybody else who is making transitions like this and trying to continue to be a content creator or be an influencer or whatever it is, those are things that are just going to be there. And so you have to find the lane and just know that it's a real thing. Know that like everyone else feels that way in some way, shape, or form. And it's just part of the deal. So I just don't think there's enough people that know that. They think that like, oh, I'll just go stream 14 hours a day and it'll all work out.
Hey, but yeah, do that for a year. I've been streaming 14 hours a day.
Literally,
but do it for a year with taking no breaks, and then see like how much Chipotle you just ate. Like it's really really important that there's other
or haven't eaten. I realized I didn't eat yesterday.
That's okay. I think that's okay to do. That's okay to do if you're if you wake up in the morning like fired up to do it.
Sure, I'm still in love with streaming. So, and even more now that I've pivoted to a different game temporarily. Like I'll obviously go back to Tarkov eventually. But I have been much happier. Like I'm able to do these 14-hour streams because it flies by.
That's good.
And
can I? Really good. I would love to just one last thing. I know I'm blowing. I'm just word vomiting at you guys.
Very very little time.
I started doing an exercise, and I highly recommend every single person and their mother try this. If it's something that you think, if it. Let me just say what it is. I do something called morning pages. Okay, so it's like a journal, but it's not. There's no format and there's nothing specific that you're writing. I sit down and I set a timer on my iPad and I just try to write 3 whole pages stream of consciousness. Just writing it down on this little tablet I have. You can take a notebook, and it's literally anything that's in your head in any order. It could be a list. You're doing what I'm doing now. You're word vomiting onto a page, and it can be a 1 page. It can be 2 pages. It can be 3. I shoot for 3. That's kind of the standard because that's a good amount. And I was terrified to do it. My wife started doing it. I was terrified to do it because I get locked in on like format. Like, in English, my problem with writing papers in high school was like halfway through every sentence, I'm like, is that the right grammar? Is there a comma that needs to go? And I get off of what I'm trying to say. It bogged me down, and it was my brain would just get so tired so fast. So I'm like, God, I can't write like that, babe. I can't do it. She's like, just try it. And then I went and tried it, and she's like, just don't worry about any of that stuff. Just write. You never have to read it again. You don't even have to you just know what you're saying. So I did it, and I can say that going into my day with my thoughts would just naturally order themselves the way that I wanted them to be, and I felt so much more at peace with what I was going to do that day. It was
meditation for you.
It's incredible. It's not. It is. If you don't like writing, it's not writing.
You're out of luck.
You're just putting it out. You could literally make this video where you put a camera on you and you just talk at it for 1 minute. Just everything that's in your head. Just get it out, because we just sit there and we think it, and it just stays in our head, and then it swirls. And it locks you up.
It's swirly.
Trevor, can I be the one? I mean, to hop in here really quick. I would like to formally invite Jenn back on the pod. Next episode, because
you have to go.
Because I want to hear Jen's opinion on this, because I feel like she struggles. Like, I feel like you specifically attacked her, and I feel like she needs time to respond. But we have to do it on the next episode because I do have to go.
Yeah.
All right, then leave.
All right.
I'll ask you guys about your favorite movie and TV show next time.
I mean, I already answered my show, so.
That's true.
Right,
Bob's Burgers, the show. Bob's Burgers, the movie.
Bob's Burgers, the movie.
Mine's Arcane. Okay.
Jen likes one thing, Bob's Burgers.
Done.
Done and done. But I just thought I'd give you something valuable on the pod.
That's very valuable.
Because
so I looked into the thing you have, Trevor.
The Remarkable?
Yeah, the Remarkable. And I want one. I have an iPad, but I want one of those things now too.
It's just so feels like paper. And then you don't have to just have piles of legal pads that you're like, what are these?
See, I just imagine you being like a beautiful mind and you just have like scratch paper and post-its everywhere. And it all just says like really obscure things like cats on moon. Like, you know.
You don't see you see the whiteboard behind me?
I think we're good.
It's cut off.
Yeah. Paul's gotta go.
All right. Anyway, Paul, take us out.
Oh, yeah.
I'll you guys want to keep going,
take us out.
All right. Well, you have been listening to / watching the May Contain Action podcast with executive guest Jenticles. I'd like to give a shout out to Jen. Thank you for being here, Jen.
Thank you.
Typically the guest response. All right, fantastic.
I said thank you.
Okay, good. Thanks so much for being here. Sorry I had to cut it short, everyone, but we will be back again, hopefully next week with a brand new podcast, a little bit longer format for you. I just got to go to my other job to do things, to make a show.
On a Friday.
He's famous.
On a Friday. Thanks for listening. Be sure to rate the podcast 5 stars and leave a review where you can so we can get this podcast out to more people to hear more about what we have to say about things. All right. Have a good week.